What's good, booktube? It's Monty. Today I'm here to do my January library haul. So these are the books that I'll be pulling from when I decide to go out and read in the month of January. There are a handful of books that I don't currently have physically here with me. So I will be putting a picture up over here in this general space when I get to talking about those. Just quickly, before I get into what I grabbed from the library, I also received an e-arc of Romanov by Nadine Brandis. That's not her name, I feel. It's a historical fantasy about Anastasia. I'm not going to get too far into that this month because it doesn't come out until, I want to say, May. But I will be reading that in addition to these other books that I have here that I'll be talking about. So we'll start off with, I guess actually what I should start off with is the Kindle that I checked out from the library. I'm currently reading Uprooted by Naomi Novik on this, but yeah, so there's that out of the way. Then I guess we'll start with my adult books. The first one that I don't have with me is Robert Galbraith's Lethal White. That is the fourth book in the Cormoran Strike series of detective novels. I've listened to a little bit of it, like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Not the biggest fan so far. I also have my brother's husband. I'll let you read the name so I don't butcher it. Waiting to come in at the library. Next up, I checked out one middle grade novel, and that was The Genius Wars by Katherine Jenks. Next, I have Strange Animals by Chad Kultgen. Then I have The Song of Achilles, which is a novelization, I would assume, about Achilles by Madeline Miller. I do think that this was pretty popular on BookTube at some point. I know Circe was popular this past year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the hype is about here. I have Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, the second book in the Red Rising series, because I believe the fifth book is coming out later this year. So I didn't really like Red Rising. I'll leave a link up in the cards below to my review, but book 2 might be better. I don't know. Haven't gotten to it. Then the sort of stretch book that I checked out was Stephen King's Under the Dome. Go into my YA science fiction. I grabbed 2 titles. I have Brightly Burning by Alexa Dunn, and this is like Jane Eyre in space. That's how the author describes it. That's how I'll describe it. More information, like I said, will be down below. Alexa Dunn is on YouTube, so if you want authorly advice, if you're one of those people that wants to write a book, she has channels, she gives tips and things. I also checked out Gemina, the Illuminae Files #2. I'll leave a link up below in the cards to my review of Illuminae. I wasn't a biggest fan of that book. I think the review that I did made it seem like my issue was with the formatting of the book, and that is kind of true. I think that some of that was just poorly formatted, and I don't think it was worth it, honestly. But I also didn't like the story. I thought it was kind of like not very good. So I know that this one follows different characters in the same world, if I remember correctly, and we'll see if I like this any better. We'll see. We have Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven. This deals with a facially blind character and a former plus-size character who was the fattest teen in the US. That's how it was quoted on the dust jacket. And, I don't know. I picked it up because it sounded like it could be interesting. I haven't read a whole lot of characters who are like who suffer from facial blindness. I think that's the correct term. So, I'm looking forward to reading this, and that's the only thing I know about it. Then I have People Like Us by Dana Meal. Then I have Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. This is pretty popular, so I feel like I don't really need to get into what it's about. I also have Blue Lily, Lily Blue, the third book in the Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. I read the first 2 in 2018. Wasn't the biggest fan of it. I feel like these are really slow books that want to be character driven, but also want to introduce like a plot twist at the end. And I hope that this one doesn't follow that same formula, because the whole like nothing happens for like 300 pages, then there's like 50 pages of a plot twist, and then the book is over. was really annoying. I'll leave a link up below to my review of The Dream Thieves. I don't think I have a review of The Raven Boys, but maybe I do. Next, I have The Sidekicks by Will Kostakis. I'm sure that's not how you say this man's name. But it deals with 3 friends who are dealing with the death of their 4th friend, who was sort of the person that held them all together. Then we now return to regular life, and this deals with the character of Sam Wilson. I think that's his name. Yes, Sam Wilson, really? Martin Wilson? Sam Wilson? Okay. Who went missing and is now back, and he has to deal with that. Then we have At the Edge of the Universe by Sean David Hutchinson. As long as I've had a Goodreads account, this was on my want-to-read list, and so I checked it out because I could, and so I did. Then I have Release by Patrick Ness. The same reason I checked out The Great American Whatever by Tim Federal. I have both of these also on audio in case I wanted to listen. The audio for this one, I listened to like the first sample, so like the first page or so, and it's read by the author, and I appreciated that, so we'll just see what happens if I switch to the audio for either of these titles. Then I have, also by Sean David Hutchinson, The 5 Stages of Andrew Brawley. Then I have Draw the Line by Laurent Lynn. Then I checked out More Happy Than Not and History Is All You Left Me, both by Mr. Adam Silvera. Then I have Heretics Anonymous, which takes place at a religious boarding school, or a Catholic school of some kind, even if it's not a boarding school, and the people that don't exactly fit in there. Then I have probably the one featuring gay protagonist that I'm the most embarrassed by not having read, because everybody's read this book, and that's Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, which was big on BookTube and just in general when it came out, and I finally have it. I then checked out Social Intercourse by Greg Howard, and I feel like this is a nerd jock situation, and but it's gay. The last gay YA book that I don't have with me at the moment, I'll put a picture here, and that is The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. I was listening to this in the month of November, and I didn't finish it because I didn't care. But it features a gay character and a black character in a historical setting, and so that's really all I needed. Moving on, kind of a reverse course a little bit, to just YA contemporary that I'm still waiting to come to the library, and that is Kids of Appetite by David Arnold. And this deals with a mystery, and there's 2 deaths, and it sounded really great, and the cover looked excellent. So I'm looking forward to reading that. Then I have just 5-ish more if I can count. Who knows? And these are my YA fantasies. The first one I don't have with me is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I just want to check it out just to see if I like it. I don't know if I will. I've heard a lot of questionable things about this series, but we'll see. And then The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Again, I've heard questionable things, but again, we'll see if I appreciate it. Then what I have here with me is Rule by Ellen Goodlett. I believe this one deals with 3 girls who are the illegitimate child of the king, and the king needs an heir, and they are summoned to the castle, and that's literally all I know about this. Then I have Throne of Glass, again by Sarah J. Maas. This is my copy, but I am waiting on a copy to come in at the library. Don't ask me why, but I am. I feel like part of me just wants to read it because I think the series is finally over, so it's okay to read it now. I don't have to wait for more books. But I also own it, and so part of me is I should probably read books that I own because I bought them. I have Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. I'll leave a link again up in the cards to my review of Shadow and Bone, which is really old and probably really terrible quality, so heads up. And lastly is a book I know I'm not probably going to like, and so I'm in no rush to get to it, and it is City of Heavenly Fire by Miss Cassandra Clare. This is the 6th and final book in the Mortal Instrument series. Back in 2009, when City of Bones came out, I was repping this series super hard. I was in it. I was loving it. I was recommending everybody to read it. If I had had access to make videos, I would have made videos about that book. But then when I read City of Ashes, is that the second one? Yes, it is. I thought it was really boring. I thought it was really terrible, and I wasn't a fan. It took me years to read that book. And then in 2012, I believe, is when I sat down and I read the first 5. And they were a slog to get through. But I've really appreciated the show. I do watch it on Freeform. I'm sad that it's ending. And while I know the show was so much better than this, I just want to have this done. I don't plan to continue. I don't plan to read the Dark Artifices or the Infernal Devices. But I do want to have this done. So that's what I have to read in the month of January. Let me know what you plan to read in the new year down below. I'll see you again when I see you. But until then,